the politicians must also know that there is no cover under the court for any long period of time.
Sure.
So anybody that feels injured should have that final activity, that final effort.
Right.
The Integrity Commission can't be left unrefereed. So therefore that is a reasonable end. But it can't be that you get a 6-month reprieve so I think that where we are now is that the court should quickly convene, should then make a statement, and that the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party should from now indicate if the judges are PMP or not. It shouldn't be that after the outcome now you hear that the judges are PMP too. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore we need
we need
a previous declaration.
No,
Because that is the modus operandi. Once it is not in their favor, the practitioners are now PMP. Now for a party that have 49 to 14, I don't know how so many people are PMP. You understand? The results of the last election don't show that. But everybody that is not in their favor and every outcome that is not in their favor.
But certainly, Senator, you know that based on how we conduct our politics over the decades, that's the tribal reaction.
But there's also...
That's a tribal instinctive reaction.
But the tribal reaction...
If somebody rules against your political interest, you blame them, you tag them with the opposition.
I don't look for malice unless I don't see logic.
No, you don't do it, but we know that happens here.
Yes,
by the populace.
The leaders are the ones that are leading the pronouncements, the accusations of political practitioners, when many of them were chosen by these leaders themselves. So a person cannot be hamstrung. You know what I fear now? That the Integrity Commission might feel hard-pressed to go and try and find one PMP to make it don't look like they are really that. But you understand? So we have to be careful, as I say, what we destroy in the society. I can't control the 300,000 JLP and 300,000 PMP that say what they want. But the leaders can't diminish the credibility of all institutions that don't find in their favor. Of course, you'll feel aggrieved. Right? I can only be accused of illicit impoverishment. I don't have any access to money, right? But I would feel aggrieved if I was accused.
Illicit
yeah, that's me, right? I stupidly spend
Senator. So we're going to take a break, and after the break, we're going to talk education with Senator Damion Crawford. He's the opposition's. So, education.
Yeah.
Myriad of issues. And I've seen, read your thoughts.
Thank you.
On a number of the issues, problems in education. Question of numeracy, literacy, funding, security, socialization, teacher retention. You have sought to write about them.
Yes.
Yes. And we invited you here this morning to sit down and to go through them.
Yes, sir.
In some detail.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, we have to
Which one you consider the most pressing one?
Well, I think the first place we must start is that what is the problem? Because the solution exists by comparing what is desired and what is the problem. So what is the problem is that we have 82% of our children not achieving the desired outcome after an 11-year experience. And the desired outcome is 5 subjects, including math and English. So the most recent have 18% having 5 subjects, including math and English. And so 82% did not achieve that outcome. It would be the same as the US saying 82% didn't get a GED. So therefore, that is a major problem.
And you're saying 82% of the grade 11 cohort,
yes,
those who would have started at grade 7, by the time they get to grade 11. Well, they would have started
at grade 1.
Grade 1.
So we have been investing in them from grade 1.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that only 18 of the 100 are getting the basic, what we consider to be the basic
outcome
that is desirable. Right. What's happening to the remaining 82%?
Well, they are just falling out of the system. They don't matriculate for university. It is so bad that the police force is having difficulty finding people with mathematics. So they now start to ask for a number.
The whole country, by the way, not only the police force.
Right. So, but it just, if your police force can't find recruits, and math is a subject of logic. That is why persons ask for it. It's supposed to prove thinking ability, reasoning ability, problem solving capacity. And so if you can't find sufficient persons with that, right? And when we looked at the result, 33% passed mathematics in Jamaica, but the Caribbean was also having a problem. Of that 33%, we reverted to look at what they got in PEP, so the 2017 PEP. And these kids were, I think, 61% numeracy. And then when you go back, 61% proficiency in the PEP, and 44% proficiency in the PEP and 61% numeracy in the 4th grade. So therefore, they were never high performing. But when we look at the grade 1 number,
hold on, let me make sure we get those numbers. So you're saying at grade 1,
yes,
in numeracy,
grade 4, numeracy, grade 4.
What
61% achieved numeracy of this age cohort.
Yes.
So at that time, 61% was numeracy.
And by the time they got to PEP, 2 years later,
44% proficiency.
They had fallen
to
44%.
Because some people argue that a numeracy test isn't an efficient and effective test of numeracy, because a lot of it is then based on memory, more so than actual numeracy. So we have always seen a fall off between the 4th grade and the 6th grade outcomes. And people believe that is a testing methodology more so than the child's capacity. Because even when you look at the grade 1s this year, high mastery was very equivalent to the grade 1s. So we had 2,800 high mastery, and then you had about 2,600 grade 1s in mathematics. So it seems as if we don't have the person to person, because I don't have that data to say Cliff got high performance, high proficiency, and now he got grade 1. But that number seems to be in correlation.
And grade 1 would be at the CSEC level.
So there's a similar number of persons. What I, however, found to be concerning was about 8,000 of the children that did PEP did not do CXE. So whether they never reached there or they never qualified for
migrated, dropped out of the system, whatever.
Right. So and we don't have that level of
that's
children.
8,000 of a cohort of about how many?
Of about 37,000.
37,000.
So we're looking at
about 20%.
No,
just a little more than 20%.
Right. All right, so I could do the maths. 10% would be 3,600. So if you're looking at 8,000, that is times 2. So yeah, about 22%. Did not make it to do 6.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they're migrated to better pastures or whatever. I don't know if they're at the stoplight, because we do see some of that age cohort. But also, UNESCO had told us that 6,000 young girls get pregnant each year.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica. Have a baby under the age of 15.
So up to when? Oh, that was at what?
That report came out in 2001, and they said in the last 10 years that we had 60,000.
Oh.
So therefore, if you in 2021, sorry, so in the last 10 years. So what that means, therefore, is that if you look at age 6 to 16, using that number, we would have had about 60,000 children that are children of children. You understand? So you can see how both from the poverty standpoint and everything coming.
So get back to the point the trajectory we're on, in terms of the performance now, at the CSEC level, how the numbers are falling.
So they're at 18% getting the 5 subject, including math and English. So what we did then is to understand what could be the reason for this. And so the literature, the research speaks to the achievement gap. Unfortunately, most of the research is US-based and developed country-based, because we don't invest in our universities in the way that will allow them to do some of these research. And we, as a government, don't facilitate policy research by paying them to do so. When I went to the EU, myself and Pernell Charles Jr.
So the faculties of education at the university is not doing that?
They're not being engaged sufficiently to do these things. It takes resources, it takes access to data, so they're not being engaged. There was a department of research, so starting might exist, but it's not going in the in-depth conversations that we need. So the achievement gap is when there's one group that is doing much better than another group to a statistically significant level. So when you do a research set to the 5% level, etc. So if you look at it, the top 20% of Jamaican schools are getting 82% chance of 5 subjects. And the bottom 20% is getting 2.3% chance of 5 subjects. So clearly there is a gap. And we all know what Campion is, and we all know what Denham Town is. Not seeking to discredit Denham Town, but just the reality of the outcomes.
In fact, Denham Town is improving.
Very much so, and Joe Matalan has been investing.
Yes, they're improving.
But the fact is they're still not at 10% at this particular point in time, getting 5 subjects.
Yeah.
So this is the achievement gap, and there are some reasons that have been highlighted why a Campion student is likely to do better than a then I'm town student, and it starts from birth.
Yeah.
So what they call the stimulation gap. So the stimulation gap is the fact that many children are not stimulated in the first 1,000 days. And Royal Reed was talking about this a lot before he had to leave. So in the first 1,000 days, 80% of your brain functioning is developed. But most Jamaicans don't even think about school until they are in basic school, which is age 3. So it's after the first 1,000 days. And many don't even, age 3 is still just a caretaking methodology, not a teaching system.
Yeah.
So therefore, the stimulation gap is one of those things where their brain has developed, they're not exposed to the number of words, their vocabulary is limited, and their brain functioning, how they think, is poor. And so therefore, one of the things we wanted to do was to reduce the stimulation gap by putting in a technology-based an app that indicate to the parent what they should expose their child to. Because it is my opinion that people are innately good but don't know what to do. I don't think they hate their children. So I have a 16-month-old Tutus, that we have something that indicates. Yeah. So it indicates to us how to say up each time she wants to be lifted. So now she asks for up when she wants to be lifted. Unfortunately, it hasn't taught us the down as yet, and she's getting heavy. But she says up when she wants to be lifted. To take her outside and show her the difference between big and small with a stone, water, when it's raining, etc. So it indicates each day to the individual. But they said that she would be exposed to over 4,000 more words than a person of a lower income with a lower level of verbosity, right, within the household. I joke because when she was born, I was preparing to answer Nigel in the parliament, so it was budget time, and for some reason she just was smiling when she heard Nigel's voice. I was depressed about it. But the point is, all those words she's been exposed to that he is using because of what I'm consuming.
Yes.
You understand? And
yes.
So therefore she's, without being intentional about it, being exposed to high levels of vocabulary because of the things that I consume to prepare.
Hold it there for me, Senator, because you're onto something that I'm fascinated with.
See,
as a trained teacher, you learned it, the psychology of development between 0 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
That human being is going to learn up to 70%
of what they eventually know
in their entire life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
After the break. Yeah. Between birth and the first 1,000 days in life. Absolutely crucial. This is something that is well known.
Yes.
Yes. Science, medicine, research
has proven this.
Yes. Yes. So you say all of this to say that part of the fix
must be that early stimulation.
And what we do at the national and at the micro household level to fix, to close that stimulation gap.
Correct.
Because it is the start that is almost predictive.
If 70% of your development is that time, then if you are late to the playing field, you only have 30% to gain. And so that 30%, you'll have to be a genius for that 30% to be sufficient to surpass those who started with 70%.
Yeah.
And so that is why we think that we should have monitors in place assigned to families to ensure that they're participating. So therefore, on a daily basis, it indicates what you should do, to touch, to feel, to words.
Monitors of what?
Of the group. So therefore, the parents are given the app, but they must report within the app that they are participating.
Hold on, go back a little. I think you didn't develop that well. So you're proposing the use of technology through the development of an app to do
indicate
what?
A homeschool curriculum, a daily homeschool activity for your child from the date of birth until they're 3. What is it that you're supposed to be engaging them with? What words you should be using on day 27? What games you should be playing on day 59 or day 312? Because these things exist currently. So as I said, carry at day 347, carry them outside to play with stones and teach them big and small. Big, small, big, small. When you're lifting them, say up. When you're giving them something to drink, water. Then you associate that with the rain, water, rain. So these apps exist. But then if the person doesn't consume it, it is medicine that exists but not being taken. And so we're assigning to families social workers that monitor the engagement, the reporting of completion, and reward the reporting of completion.
First of all, where are these apps being used?
Most middle class people have these apps.
In Jamaica?
I have an app, right? That globally exists. That tells me what to say, tells me what to play, that tells me what words to use. So the homeschool material curriculum, there are global best practices of how to engage a child, of when to introduce 4-letter words, of when to introduce we call it silent letters. So those things exist, and how to stimulate the brain. So what
the question I'm listening to you, the question that that is coming in my head.
Yes.
How do you apply that in a home that is really 4 walls and nothing more, where the mother is probably some, and I hate to put it this way, some irresponsible, she have the picnic, she have forgone, whatever, hustle or whatever, no dad around, and that woman is left with, on her own, and she have a hustle.
Right. So, right.
No 2 parents.
Because
Tutus has 2 parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm about 7 auntie and 55 cousin.
Precisely.
Yes. Right.
How you apply it in that reality in Jamaica.
So what we don't recognize is that at that age, stimulation is not 8 hours. It's an hour and a half. It's 2 hours combined for the day. And so therefore there are morning activities when you just wake up, there's dinner activities. So therefore that stimulation is not incapable to be done as if it's an 8-hour day that you must be available. Now there will be a minority, in my assumption, that are uninterested parents. But I don't believe the majority are uninterested parents. I believe the majority are uninformed parents, don't know what to do. And by extension, providing that avenue, especially when the aides go to when you have a baby, the aide go and sign you up, give you you call it baby passport, and you have community health workers, etc. Those are the people that we're engaging to say, okay, Cliff didn't enter complete today. Hello, Cliff. We haven't seen you in the last 6 weeks. Are you doing the thing?
So you're going to having to find the resources to recruit an army of what you call them monitors.
Yes.
And you're talking about thousands of
Not
people?
thousands, because if you look at the birth rate per year, you're looking at about 36,000 per year.
Yeah.
So if you put 1 to 60, right? And one of the things that we want from the middle class Jamaicans and the upper class Jamaicans is to participate in those groups and become monitors. So we're also engaging the society, like what we did with Jamal, where you're a monitor within it, that you're calling the person in your group. You're 60, you're 70. How is it going? We're going down to the park tomorrow. Would you like to come? So that all our children, because one of the problems we're going to face is if they become a threat to the society, our society also becomes a threat to us. And so we're now seeking to engage the full sum of the society. So I with Tutus would have another 16-month-old, and I would be engaging. I'm going to say nothing from you as well. So therefore the monitor will be subsidized by middle class and upper class persons who might know better and can educate and inform better.
Senator, it sounds good.
Yes.
But I'm thinking the challenge of getting that done in Jamaica today, where that sense of responsibility, I think, is lacking. That sense of, what's the word? Where I find that community, what you're talking about is community building, and family building,
Yes.
I'm a problem. I'm too old.
No.
But I'm feeling that it is going to be a massive effort to mobilize, to get monitors to participate.
If we are at 82% failing, every effort is going to be a massive effort.
Yeah.
Because the vast majority are failing. We're not tinkering on we're at 80 and we want to get 2% passing. We want to move from 18 to 80. So every effort would be massive. There's a lot of people training in social work. There's a group of people who are already community health aides, not given the responsibility of the education.
Also, you'd include them?
Yes, of course, because they are looking if the baby is developing physically. But we're going to retrain them to also look if the baby is developing mentally, if they're participating in these activities for their own mental health. development. So some of those already exist and we'll expand it. But we're also looking, because you see, a crowd is based on organization. Sometimes the crowd is less than the people disorganized. You know? I think we have more good people than bad people. They're just not organized. And so a department of volunteerism will also be set up so that we can
based
have...
where?
In the Ministry of Education.
A department of volunteerism.
So a man say, I can do one day. So for example, we have math teacher shortage. I can teach 1 day a week, but I can't teach 5 days a week. If 5 of us was organized, and I do Monday, you do Tuesday, you do Wednesday, then we have a teacher for every day. And you tell me I do fraction, whatever. So the Department of Volunteerism will then attract persons to say, I want to help. I'm a retired teacher. I want to help. I am a person of this ilk. I want help. So therefore, I for example, one of the things we do currently is what I call telephone tutorial. So people who can't read, we give them a strategy for 60 days and they get a student number and just call that child and do 40 minutes per day. So that's a telephone tutorial that the diaspora can participate.
How that works?
Okay, so there's a child that's reading below the grade level. Literacy specialists say, oh, this is a child in the pre-primary, call it pre-primary. And so for the next 60 days, every day they should do this, that, word identification, comprehension, whatever. So we will give you, Cliff Hughes, the 60 days trend, what you should do for the 60 days. And this is your child, Kevin. You call Kevin for 40 minutes and you go through day 1. Then you call him for 40 minutes and go through day 2. So Kevin now have a personalized teacher who was given both a video and a list, a strategy of what to do with Kevin. So when Kevin come after 60 days, he's reanalyzed.
So that is no...
That's what I'm doing in my constituency now, in my local place. Come and test some of the theories. And but so the Department of Volunteerism will have person who say, I will volunteer for that. I can read. I'm not an expert. So if you tell me what to do, what words he should identify, how should I do the strategy, I can apply that strategy and with this person for 40 days. Now, if this person have a person-to-person, he must improve quicker than if he's in a 40 people class. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the things. So the Department of Volunteerism will help to do that, because Jamal came when Jamaica was perceived to be a dark place in 1980s and all of that was still happening, and many volunteered.
I noticed as part of your plan as a marketer, you make provisions for marketing, because this is going to need a massive social marketing effort. Because to get to those parents, those caregivers, the extended family members, is going to require some effort.
But the purpose of education is social reengineering. So marketing must be a part of social reengineering. That is something that I think Chris Tufton understands. That he have to market the movement, Jamaica moves, because we have diabetes, we have this, that. So therefore, there must be a 2 is better than too many campaign. When we used to have 7, 8 children. That has been so effective that we shorter children now. We want to say
below the reproductive rate.
We want to say 4 is better than 2 now, right? so, but there was a time 13 children, 5 children, 7 children was the norm. So therefore, I believe that the private sector would have to come on to give local prizes, a KFC voucher if you complete it for the month for certain people, to encourage them, to engage them. So a hotel stay, if your group is the best performing group. So we engage the private sector, but we also promoting to the people why this is important, and that if you go around the corner and buck up into sufferation, you shouldn't allow your child to go around that corner, that your duty is that he's better than you. That is your ultimate duty. So marketing is a central part that I think the ministry is lacking at the education level, but I think that health understands and is trying to push.
We're talking with Senator Damion Crawford, Education. We want to hear from you. Yes, if you